This is wrestling's greatest moments.
Hey now, wrestling fans. It's time for another episode of Wrestling's Greatest Moments, Who's Dat Wrestler, where we provide 5 clues and you have to guess the wrestler's identity. The less clues you need to get the answer, the better your score. Before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Here are the rules. You have 5 clues to guess each wrestler's identity, that is, the wrestling name they're best known by. If you answer the question with the first clue, you earn 5 points. If you answer the question by the second clue, you get 4 points, and so on, with the 5th and last clue being worth 1 point. If you don't answer the question within 5 clues, you get a whole lot of nothing. Dare to play the wild card? If you're willing to take a risk, consider playing our wild card question. We'll give you the subject. The question could be easy, medium, or hard. You won't know until you play it. It's a multiple choice question, or as we used to say in school, a multiple guess. Answer it right, and you add 5 points to your score. Answer it wrong, and you deduct 5 points. Keep in mind, the wild card is optional. Here's an example. Category: The Road Warriors. Your difficulty is easy. Lucky you. Here's a question. Which of these tag team titles weren't held by the Road Warriors? 1. The AWA World Tag Team Championship. 2. The WWF Tag Team Championship. 3. The ECW Tag Team Championship. Or 4. The NWA World Tag Team Championship. The correct answer is 3. The ECW World Tag Team Championship. Good luck! Question 1. Easy. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born on January 21st, 1941 in Krakow, Poland. Although he didn't play off his Polish heritage early on in his career, it eventually became a big part of his wrestling persona. Clue number 2. This wrestler began competing around 1968. This wrestler held the NWA Texas Tag Team Championship 2 times with Jose Lothario in 1973 and the Big Time Wrestling promotion. This wrestler would later hold the WWF Tag Team Championship with Tito Santana. Clue number 3. This wrestler transformed his body through weightlifting, creating a powerful physique. His power-based offense included his finisher, the Polish Hammer. Clue number 4. This wrestler's power wrestling made him the ideal babyface to play against strongmen such as superstar Billy Graham and Jesse the Body Ventura. Clue number 5. This wrestler was nicknamed Polish Power. Who's that wrestler? Who is Ivan Putski? Question 2. Easy. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born on October 11th, 1965 in San Francisco, California. This wrestler is a member of the legendary Anoa'i family. This wrestler debuted around 1985. Clue number 2. This wrestler found success in the Samoan SWAT team, winning Tag Team Gold in World Class Wrestling Association and World Championship Wrestling. This wrestler formed the Head Shrinkers in the WWF with his brother, winning the WWF Tag Team Championship. Clue number 3. This wrestler had short-lived singles runs in the WWF, including a babyface one where he tried to make a difference, and one as a heel where he played a masked wrestler known as the Sultan. Clue number 4. This wrestler was involved in a storyline where he kayfabe struck Stone Cold Steve Austin with a car. This wrestler later claimed he did it for The Rock. Clue number 5. This wrestler allied himself with Too Cool, Grandmaster Sexay, and Scotty 2 Hotty, and got over when he joined them in their post-match dance celebration. This wrestler was also known for performing the move, the Stink Face. Who's that wrestler? Who is Rikishi, aka Fatu? Question 3. Medium. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born on January 29th, 1959 in Roanoke, Virginia. This wrestler began competing in 1978 in Jim Crockett Promotions. Clue number 2. This wrestler was recruited by Sergeant Slaughter as one of his henchmen. This wrestler teamed with Don Kernodle, with the two winning the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championship in Jim Crockett Promotions. This wrestler also held the Canadian Television Championship twice in Maple Leaf Wrestling. Clue number 3. This wrestler underwent a major transformation when he shaved his head and began portraying a Russian wrestler in Mid-South Wrestling. Clue number 4. This wrestler played a Russian character in the American Wrestling Association, challenging Sergeant Slaughter for the America's Championship and Rick Martel for the AWA World Championship. He failed to win either title, but struck gold when he won the AWA World Tag Team Championship with Soldat Ustanev. Clue number 5. This wrestler jumped to the WWF, teaming with Nikolai Volkov to form the Bolsheviks. Who's that wrestler? Who is Boris Zukov, a.k.a. Jim Nelson? Question 4. Medium. Clue number 1. This second-generation wrestler was born on November 27th, 1948, in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. He debuted in the American Wrestling Association around 1972. Clue number 2. This wrestler was the inaugural AWA International Television Champion. He lost the title to Ron Garvin, but later regained it. Clue number 3. Although this wrestler spent most of his career in the AWA, he worked a handful of matches in the WWF, including a win over Rick McGraw at the 1980 Showdown at Shea event. He also held the World Wrestling Council Tag Team Championship with Jim Brunzell in the mid-1980s. Clue number 4. This wrestler was involved in a storyline where Sergeant Slaughter trained him in a modified boot camp, leading to him wearing camouflaged wrestling gear. Clue number 5. This wrestler had 2 lengthy runs as AWA World Tag Team Champion as a member of the High Flyers with Jumping Jim Brunzell. Who's that wrestler? Who is Greg Gagne? Question 5. Hard. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born in Ontario, Canada in 1932. He began wrestling around 1956 and quickly was nicknamed based on his fiery hair color. Clue number 2. While this wrestler enjoyed several championship runs in tag teams, he also held singles titles, including the American Wrestling Association's British Empire Heavyweight Championship twice, Big Time Wrestling's NWA American Heavyweight Championship once, and the NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship one time. Clue number 3. This wrestler teamed with Dewey Robertson and Maple Leaf Wrestling as part of the Crusaders, holding the NWA International Tag Team Championship, the Toronto version, 3 different times. This wrestler also held the same title with Whipper Billy Watson. Clue number 4. This wrestler was known for his tag team with another redhead, Red Bastion. The two held the NWA Texas Tag Team Championship after defeating Mike York and Frank Monty. This wrestler and Bastion became known as the Flying Redheads. Clue number 5. This wrestler began working as an interviewer for Maple Leaf Wrestling and later the WWF. He hyped shows with his catchphrase, "Don't you dare miss it." Who's that wrestler? Who is Billy Red Lyons? Question 6. Hard. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born on March 18th, 1916 in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. This wrestler competed on the Canadian rowing team at the 1936 Olympics. Clue number 2. This wrestler began competing before World War II, but put his wrestling career on hold to enlist in the Royal Canadian Air Force. Standing 6 foot 5 inches, he was too big to fly a plane, so he served as a physical fitness instructor. This wrestler worked occasional matches while stationed in England during the war, eventually returning to compete in Ontario. Clue number 3. This wrestler formed one of the most successful brother tag teams of the 1950s, finding success on the West Coast and in the Midwest. This wrestler and his brother also held the Chicago version of the NWA World Tag Team Championship, competing during the golden age of wrestling when wrestling was broadcast on national television networks. This wrestler and his brother held the NWA San Francisco version of the NWA World Tag Team Championship an astonishing 18 times from 1950 through 1959. Clue number 4. This wrestler and his brother wrestled a historic series in Japan in February 1954. The brothers battled Ricky Dozan and Mashika Kimura in a tag team tournament, and the series is often credited with helping Ricky Dozan become a national star in Japan. Clue number 5. This wrestler was the uncle of legendary enhancement talent Iron Mike Sharp. Who's that wrestler? Who is Ben Sharp? Question 7. Ridiculous. Clue number 1. This wrestler was born on May 18, 1949, in St. John's, Newfoundland. He began wrestling around 1972. This wrestler trained under Gene Kiniski. Clue number 2. This wrestler held singles and tag team gold in Lutte Internationale, including the Canadian International Heavyweight Championship once and the Canadian International Tag Team Championship 3 times. He defeated Dino Bravo for the singles title, only to drop it back to Bravo. Clue number 3. This wrestler found success competing in South Africa as Big John Strongbow and the Canadian Hitman in Germany. Clue number 4. This wrestler was part of a team that held the WWF Tag Team Championship after defeating Rick Martel and Tony Garea. Clue number 5. This wrestler was written off WWF television for good after an announcer revealed he'd been kayfabe hit by a car. Who's that wrestler? Who is Moondog King, a.k.a. Sailor White? Dare to play the wild card? Remember, the wild card category is optional. This week's wild card category: Wrestler Animal Mascots. Difficulty: medium. What was the name of Jake Roberts' snake after Earthquake crushed his first snake? 1. Damien. 2. Archon. 3. Lucifer. 4. Sneaky Snake. The answer is 3. Lucifer. Jake the Snake Robert replaced his pet snake Damien, who was kayfabe crushed by Earthquake and later served as Quake Burgers. The new snake was named Lucifer. Now it's time to add up your score. Let's have the coach tell you how you did. Coach?
How'd you do? No points. You set up the ring. While you're at it, sweep up the gym. 1 to 5 points. You're a wrestling school student. 6 to 10 points. You're a local talent, or what I like to call a bum. 11 to 15 points. You're a jobber to the stars. 16 to 20 points. You're a mid-card talent. 21 to 25 points. You're an upper-card talent. 26 to 30 points. You're a main eventer. 31 to 34 points. You're the undisputed world champion. 35 points. You're a living legend. While you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Wrestling's greatest moments. the channel that celebrates the squared circle.